Hello, gaming buddies, and hello, Stormy, Quebec. Um, this is a video response to Same Old G on Closer to the End, where he asks about how to end a game campaign. Um, I've ended loads of campaigns. Some of them have just sort of petered out, but even from those experiences, I have learned some things, what to do and what not to do. The most important and obvious, of course, is end with a bang, not a whimper. Uh, the story is a bit like a roller coaster ride, and the highest rise should be the finale, right before the end, before the great plunge down. Uh, Seconds before gravity overtakes you, and yeah, you get that sinking feeling of this is it. Um, so the bang, of course, doesn't have to be a gunshot. It can be a lot of things. A finale should be just something that is really brings closure to most of the problems and questions that are have been the focus and the key at the center of the story. Uh, what I would suggest is that if the players really like certain non-player characters, try and involve them in the ending somehow, because that will amp up the emotional side and create has the possibility at least to create lots of cool interactions. Because if the people they have come to enjoy are in danger or are you know wrestling with big issues, that can bring up different things about the player characters as well. And if there have been like forgettable NPCs, they should not probably not come out of the woodwork to deliver an important message. For example, it should be someone that they know. Um, Avoid the Deus ex machina where the answer or the solution is delivered from up high from the heavens, and just like magic, suddenly everything is fixed. There should be a battle for the finale, the ending, what they want. In if it's a problem that needs to be solved, they need to be the ones to do it. And if it's a battle that has to be won, they have to be the ones to win it. And all those important aspects of the story should culminate either right before the grand finale or during it, depending on how long the ending takes. Because I've had um, some games where the end took more than one session. So, I mean, for example, in one of my old Vampire the Masquerade games, it was pretty much like 5 to 6 hour long gaming sessions, so 15 to 18 hours. That was the finale, and it was pretty heavy stuff, but that's sometimes necessary. Um, of course, if something doesn't fit the schedule you have, don't force it. Even if it's something interesting or something that you just want to throw in there, too much of a good thing is still too much. And you have to weigh very carefully, is it worth it? Um, will this just be a distraction? Because that's entirely possible that the player characters can get sidetracked even as they see the finish line. They suddenly veer off to the right or left and go off the track. Not that you're railroading, G. I'm not accusing you of that. But, you know, that's just a metaphor. And, oh yeah, personal storylines. This is very important because people love personal storylines, you know, things that really involve their character in particular and how they develop during the campaign. These should be wrapped up well before the ending so that they don't feel rushed. They don't feel like, ooh, this campaign is about to end and I still haven't done X, Y, and Z. So, you know, they have to be handled very, very smartly, I think, because they take a lot more planning, in my opinion, at least for me. Those personal storylines and personal things take a lot more than just when I can focus on what I have in mind and write it out and you know, figure out where the pieces land. And if they come to a close, those personal storylines, right at the end, they lose. It can be very enjoyable if, especially, well, it works if it's tied to the core of the main story somehow, but or maybe the personal story is the main story, could also be. But if it's not, keeping them separate is very good if they come before the finale, because they will also have a separate impact on everything. So you have like two places where something very cool happens, something that the players can really sink their teeth into and really enjoy. Um, so those are some of my suggestions on how to handle it. And of course, after the ending, there should be a moment to reflect on all that has passed, has come to pass, and why. So everyone can make, you know, suggestions on what might have happened, and not just the game master, but you know, and the game master should bring up on what happens to NPCs, different places, different factions, and so on, so that it will feel like, okay, the world as we left it does go on, and we maybe will be returning to that place someday. But in the end, the changes that the player characters made in the game world should be very apparent and pointed out. At least they should be apparent to the players, even if the most of the population of the world never knows of their sacrifice or their great deeds. At least the players should be able to look back and go, yep, we did that. And in this epilogue, aside from just listening to the game master drone on and on, players should have the opportunity to describe what happens to their own characters as the credits roll, and you know, where they end up. Sometimes it's better if in certain cases, if there hasn't been that many personal storylines, or if the characters are still a bit undefined or something, it's acceptable for the game master to write out a sort of synopsis on what happens to the player character after the campaign has ended. But even then, you should leave it undefined in such a way that the players can chip in on what else they do or how they do these things that you suggested. And you know, because it's that input is important, and that will make it feel like the ending is satisfying. The ending makes you feel like, yes, it was all worth it. This is incredibly important, especially in those games that have been running for a long time. And I tend to run those long campaigns, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully this was helpful to not just Same Old G, but to everyone else out there. And yes, and in fact I'm gonna go and get cooking and then start writing on my campaign again. It's an ongoing process. So thank you for watching and have a very nice day.